What's up, you guys? If you're new here, welcome. My name is Audie. If you're coming back from last week, welcome back. Thanks for sticking around. Just this week I thought I should just talk about something that is near and dear to my heart. Something that I struggle with myself. A more serious conversation, something that needs to be talked about, should be talked about more than it is. I want to start this new series on my channel called Let's Talk About. Just in that series, I want to just talk about either like something that's happening, like current events, or you know, just something like this topic that I'm talking about today. You know, lighthearted conversations, more serious ones, stuff that everybody's dealing with day to day that, you know, people I guess want to know more about. I hope y'all enjoy this video. So this first episode of Let's Talk About, I want to dive into mental health. Kind of like a hard first topic to talk about, specifically through mental health. This week I want to talk about depression. This is something that I have struggled with in the past and, you know, still struggle with day to day. And I just want to talk about some stuff that people say, or like, you know, how it feels for me at least, and like what people say about, like, you know, just say about it and stuff like that. So the first thing I want to talk about is what it feels like. This is specifically for me. For other people, mine isn't light depression, but mine also isn't super heavy. That sounds weird, but like I'm kind of in the middle where it's not super bad, but it isn't just like something I can brush off a little easier. So mine isn't constant. It kind of comes and goes every now and then. Sometimes it'll be better, sometimes it'll be gone for like a month or two, and then it'll come back. Stuff like, it's really hard to tell for me. Whenever it does happen, it just feels like nothing good is happening. I get very doubtful about everything I'm doing in my life. Like, I start questioning everything I'm doing. Like, I am just not happy ever. Like, I could do something that would make me super happy normally, and it does not make me happy. I just am constantly irritable. Like, I'm always upset. I don't like want to do anything. I'll go hang out with my friends, but I'm not constantly, like, you know, I'm not happy really. I like put on this like facade that I'm having a good time. Just, I don't want people to worry about me necessarily, because I've had depression since I think I was like a sophomore or freshman in I would say more end of sophomore year in high school is when I started getting it. I didn't do anything about it until probably my senior year in high school. I finally went to a doctor and a therapist and talked about it and stuff like that. This is a hard one because I knew I would never go through with, I know this is a triggering topic, but I knew I would never go through with suicide, but at one point it did get really bad. Even though I knew I would never commit suicide or anything like that. It was just, it got really bad at a point where I literally didn't want to do anything. I was very careless. Like, I didn't care if anything happened. I didn't, you know, I was not hanging out with my friends anymore. I was cutting everybody out of my life. I was, you know, just constantly secluding myself from my family. Like, I wasn't really talking to my family ever. I wasn't, you know, talking to my friends a lot. I will say I got to a point, I know it was New Year's, and I think it was my sophomore year of New Year's, or maybe my junior year. I'm not exactly sure, but my aunt kept saying stuff to me, and she was just, you know, it was just a bunch of stuff building up. Like, I think it was just throughout the week, and then she said something that day, and I went to the bathroom, and I didn't, you know, do anything complete like that would have killed me. I started doing a little bit of, like, this is just something that I moved past with, that I'm okay with talking about. And I think people should be more okay with talking about stuff like this. But I went to the bathroom and I did self-harm, and that was the first time I did it. and I didn't know what to do, and I didn't know who to talk to. I mean, I had my best friends, but I felt like none of them would understand me, or none of them would understand what I was going through. And so I didn't want to like like I said, I didn't want anybody to worry about me, and I didn't want to burden anybody with any of my problems, because I'm one of those people, like, I don't care if I'm not entirely happy. I'd rather have everybody else happy than, you know. And I didn't want anybody to be keeping an eye on me constantly because they thought I was going to do something that was just even worse than that. So I didn't tell anybody or anything like that. This was, of course, it was like winter, it was coldish. So when I went to school, I would be wearing a sweater or something. It would cover it. It's on this wrist. I didn't cut super deep, so there aren't any scars or anything. You know, it healed over, so there's not any scars or any, like, you know, anything like that. Like I said, I didn't want anybody to worry, so I didn't tell anybody. So I went to school, you know, carried on my week, and I think it was like a Thursday or Friday, and I was waiting for my mom to pick me up, and it was getting a little warm, so I had taken my jacket off, and I talk with my hands pretty often, and I was talking to one of my friends outside, and I think I did something like this, and my best friend, who was in my last video actually, he saw it, and he asked me what it was, and I just like could not say anything. Like I didn't know how to talk about it, because, you know, that was 5 years ago, I think. 4 or 5 years ago. I didn't know how to talk about it. I didn't know, you know, I didn't know what was okay to talk about with people, what was not okay, or like how I should talk about it with people. I just didn't, you know, completely trust everybody with talking about it, because it was, I knew it was a very serious topic. And I didn't even, that was, like I said, that was like my sophomore year. I didn't even talk about it with any of my family. My grandpa actually picked up on my behavior, and one day he asked me, he's like, "Are you okay? Like, are you depressed or something?" And I didn't answer, and he looked at me, and my grandma was like, "No, she's fine." And I think he was the only one that sort of knew, but I didn't, like I said, I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want it to be something that he worried about me for. Like, I didn't want him to constantly be worrying about me. I didn't want him to constantly be worrying about me, or like whether I was gonna hurt myself even more. I wanted him to know that, yeah, I suffer from depression, but I'm okay. My sophomore or my senior year, a lot of stuff just happened. Like, a lot of stuff was happening the beginning of my senior year. It was some family stuff, some school stuff. It was just a lot of stuff happening, and I just like I couldn't keep it from anybody else anymore. I couldn't keep it from any of my family. I told 2 of my friends, I think. I don't think I told anybody else. I don't even think I told my boyfriend at the time, but it was just, I don't want people worrying about me constantly, or, you know, worrying about me at all. Something had happened, and I broke down in front of my grandma, and she asked me if I was okay, and I just was sobbing hysterically, and I asked her if we could go talk to a doctor, and she said that was fine. I went and talked to my doctor, and then she suggested that I go to a therapist, which I was like kind of iffy about, but I was like, that's fine, like, I'll do it. Like, let me talk about my feelings to somebody who isn't gonna really, you know, they don't know anybody I know, so they're not gonna tell anybody any of the stuff I say. It's always gonna be kept with us. So I did that. I went to a therapist for a while, and nobody even knew I went to a therapist. I think I told one of my friends that I went once. So that's my senior year of high school. Leading up to now, I still constantly suffer with it. Like I said, it comes and goes. It's bad some days, it's not bad others. You know. I have been suffering with it a little bit lately. I don't go to a therapist anymore, just because I've found therapists are good and they can help you. I just thought I needed a therapist when I was at my lowest point, which was then, and so I got better, and I was like, okay, I don't need to see a therapist anymore. And I told my therapist too, and she's like, okay, that's fine. Like, if you don't think you need this, like, that's fine. You don't have to, do what you want, do what makes you happy. And I told my grandma I didn't want to go anymore, and she asked me if I was sure. I told her yes, and then that was it. I was just like, I don't want to go anymore. I don't feel the need to go anymore. I was at a very happy place in my life. I journal a lot, and I journal a lot and talk about what I'm doing, like what I'm feeling in my journal. I just use the journal as a way to kind of just get everything off my chest. It's not bad. It's better. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm happy. I'm at a good place in my life. Just overall very happy now. So, mental health is something that a lot of people struggle with. I know of several people who struggle with it. I don't believe it's taken as seriously as it should. I feel like sometimes people are just like, well, just do something that'll make you happy, or don't put yourself in that situation if it makes you unhappy. But that doesn't matter. Like I said earlier, with me, I could go do something that would make me super happy, and I still would not be happy. You can't just make yourself happy. You can't just put yourself in happy situations. You can't just remove yourself from unhappy situations. Like, it doesn't always work like that. And it's something that I think people need to understand more of, because they think they can just say that and it'll help. And it does. Like, sometimes it does, don't get me wrong. But sometimes it doesn't. In the end, I'll still be upset. And it's just something that I have to take my time and heal myself with. Like, during those really, really bad times, that I actually been having them, not often recently, but they've been here and there, like within the past 6 months. During those times, I just take my time to myself. I come up in my room or something, and I sit and I'll listen to music and read, or watch a movie or something, just by myself with my dog, just hanging out, just trying to self-soothe, I guess, if that makes sense. But I just think that people need to take mental health in general more seriously, because it's not something that's easy. It's not something that's, easy to deal with, or, it's not something we could just move past or, get rid of. It takes time, and sometimes it doesn't ever go away, which sucks, but that's just, that's how it is. But there are some things that could help you. I've recently heard about this app called BetterHelp. This video is not sponsored, but there's an app called BetterHelp. I think it's an app where you can actually just get a therapist, and you can text them or call them or email them or something like that, and just tell them how you're feeling, and they can help me. And I believe it's a lot cheaper than just going in and seeing a therapist, and you don't have to leave your home, because I know sometimes that's a thing, people don't want to leave their house because that's their safe place. For me, for instance, my safe place is my bedroom. Not even my house, it's my bedroom. There are hotlines, and there are, like I said, BetterHelp is an app. There are your friends. There's people who will help you as long as you let them. I will have linked down below some numbers for hotlines that may help you if you need it. If you ever need somebody to talk to, you can message me on, I don't know if you can message me on here, but you can message me on Instagram. But just shoot me a message if you need somebody to talk to, and I will definitely be willing to talk with you or something. I promise you're not alone. You are important to a lot of people, even if you don't think you are. Please take care of yourself. Please know that I love you, and I know a lot of other people love you as well. But I believe that is the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for listening to me ramble on about everything. And please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below if you want. And I will see you all next week with a little more lighthearted video. Thank you. Bye.
Is this the low, or is this the high?